Whew, I'm looking right into the sun. Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden. And today we're going to be working on constructing the front portion to create a secret garden for my new shade garden. Now this has kind of been a long time coming because one of the things I've been doing is waiting for the heat to drop because it's just been so rough. Secondly, y'all know how I don't like to buy new things if I can get away with it. And so I have been waiting and trying to collect and nothing has been coming to fruition, which y'all know I usually have better luck than that. And so I've been holding out, but now we're getting to the point where I need to go ahead and get this done and wrapped up before winter gets here. There are a lot of things I want to do within my shade garden, but I can't do it until I have this structure that comes up right in this area so that it can cast more shade behind me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a video real quick showing you the drawing that I've been working on that gives me the overall idea of what I'm going for. I'll talk a little bit about during that video while you're seeing me draw it out and talk a little bit about my idea and concept regarding that. So the entrance to the shade garden is going to be centered around 4 posts and a single vintage door in the center. The door I've had for a number of years, and so I'm going to go ahead and reutilize it. I'd like to put some kind of topper with a starburst pattern at the very top. I think would look really cool. And then I would love to do some kind of crystal installation directly below the topper, maybe out of glass beads. I don't know, I kind of have a vision for it, but I'm not quite sure. On either side, I want some type of lattice work, but I'm not sure if it's going to be custom made lattice work or if it's going to be that pre-made plastic lattice work. We'll have to see as the design kind of continues to grow over time, but this is definitely a step-by-step, let's wing it process. Okay, so now that you've seen the drawing, just know that that could change. I do plan for a lot of my projects, but a lot of times I wing it. And so I'm sure that I will run into obstacles and challenges regarding all of this. I have no doubt. And with those, I'll have to make adjustments along the way. But one of the first things I need to do right here is I need to measure the length of space right here. Now over here, I do have some drains that come down from our gutter system, and they do go back towards the back. So I'm going to actually be starting my first post right here on the edge. I'm going to be starting it in this corner. Now I am going to walk it pretty much this direction, so I need to move these posts, and I'm going to have a little bit of a curve out, so I'm going to have a little bit of a garden space right here where I'm really wanting to add some container gardening. I do think eventually I will end up bringing this whole space out and there'll be no grass here, but that's further down the road and not something I'm looking on taking on at this exact moment. So let me move a few things out of the way, and then let's get started measuring this out, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I'm going to use some paint to kind of show what I'm doing. I did want to say if you've missed the other shade garden videos, I'll put them down below. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting with red paint to kind of give you guys an idea. So basically, I'm really kind of just painting where I'm going to want the hole, where I'm going to be putting the actual post right there. And then I'm going to go across here. And I want to give myself a little bit of space, going forward on that garden. Now, with that, I want to be able to create a straight line all the way across. Even though a measuring tape can give you a pseudo straight line, the best way to get a straight line is to come in with like a stake, and we'll put one on both sides. There we go. I've got the weed barrier, so I have to push that through. The best thing to do is to put 2 stakes and tie a piece of string, and the piece of string will make a perfectly straight line for you. Okay, so I've just got some twine, and I'm just going to tie a knot on one end, come all the way across, I really did want to do this lower though. Lower. And I'll tie that off. It's probably kind of hard for y'all to see because it is a brown string. Let me run a little bit of spray paint on it for you guys. It also gives me my line all the way across like that. All right, sweet. Now, based on the length of this line, which is approximately 8 feet, because I'm not gonna lie, I came and pre-measured all of this before starting the video with you all. Let me go ahead and check that again. Yeah, we're just at about 8 feet. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to go to the original drawing I just showed y'all, and now I'm going to throw in some measurements along the bottom of that drawing so that I know where to dig my holes, how far each of those posts is going to be apart, and keeping in mind the width of the door that's going to be in the center. Okay, here we are at the back to the drawing. So I have 90 inches from the center. So I'm not doing it from the edge, from the center of the poles on either side, 90 inches all the way across. In the middle, I need approximately 28 inches to accommodate the width of the door, but also getting to the center of these posts. There's a little bit of extra in there because what I don't want to happen is for these to become too small and the door not fit. I would rather it be a little too big where I can put some stops around here to make the door fit rather than it being too small. Now, once I figured out that I needed that 28 inches, then I had 90 inches. I subtracted that 28 inches, and whatever I had left over, I divided it in two. So I had 62 left over. So I have 31 on this side and 31 on this side. So I need to make my marks at, let's see, 0, 31, and then 31 plus 28, which is 59, and then finally 90. Okay, so that's what I'll go do is I'll go and measure that out, 0, 31, 59, and 90 inches. And then I know that I'm in my relative area for where I need to dig the holes, where we're going to put concrete, and where we're going to set some structures to hold the new posts up. Okay, and then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in at those points. So my 1 is going to be a little bit further over 1. And then we had 31, correct? 31 right there. And then we had 59. And then at the end we had 90. And then now I know where I need to, oh, you guys are over there. And then now I know where I need to dig my holes. So let me show you what the plan is for the holes of the concrete and what's going to hold these posts in place. Okay, so I ordered these mechanisms on Amazon. The reason I did them on Amazon is because they're cheaper, significantly cheaper on Amazon than they were buying them at Home Depot or Lowe's. So I will link these below. Basically, this is, you pour concrete into a hole, you insert this in here, you insert this kind of post that's hanging down into the concrete, let it set, then you put your 4x4 in here and you drill into these holes on the side to secure the 4x4 in place. It's a really great way to create posts and columns. I didn't want to put the wood directly into the ground, into the concrete, because I didn't want it to rot faster. That's just a me thing. I understand if y'all are like, oh, that won't happen, or it's not going to be a big deal. In my mind, it's a big deal. So this is the way I wanted to do it. Now, a couple of different things when I'm working on these. When I'm inserting these into the ground, I'm going to make sure that the opening right here is linear all the way across. Once each of these are put into their holes, I'm going to put the 4x4 across all 4 to make sure that they are all perfectly lined up for future. Now, they might be a little bit off in the end, but I think that 4x4 going all the way across between the 4 of them will help quite a bit. And this goes maybe about 7 to 8 inches down into the concrete, and so I think that's going to work really well. I plan on using a Quikrete where I'll just be pouring it into the hole and adding water. This will be my first time using Quikrete, so it will be a learning lesson throughout the process, but I'll be excited to kind of show you guys what it looks like doing something like this for the first time, because I do want you guys to feel like this is something that you could come out and create if you were interested. Okay, so Jeff finished up the 2 other holes for me. So I did these 2 holes. So they're down about 16 to 18 inches. Just work good. Over here, we did run into one of our underground water lines. So what we're going to do is kind of just create a saddle. So the concrete will go on both sides, but the actual metal piece to hold the post will go on this right side. But the reason we did this is because we couldn't get deep enough on either side, and then this will help kind of just secure it in place. Now, if this was like a really deep hole and we were pouring a ton of concrete, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't put concrete around my water right there. But because this is just not very much concrete, y'all, where you literally could dig it out in like 5 minutes, I'm not super stressed about it. I'm sure some of y'all are going to have some opinions regarding that, but I think it's going to end up being fine. Okay, it's the next day. So we've got our holes dug, and I've got my concrete. So this is a high strength concrete mix, and the reason I got it is because it's specifically for setting posts. All you have to do is add water. So the idea being that I fill this up with the concrete powder, I use a hose and add water, I stir it, allow it to begin setting, and then I insert this piece just like that. This will be my first time trying concrete, so let's see how it goes. I'm kind of excited. I feel like I should add more because here's the top of the ground. We're about 2 inches short, so let me go grab another bag. So I'm using a piece of wood to kind of give me like a better idea of like if this is lining up with each of the posts. So it gives me a better idea of where the post is going to fall over here and where the post will fall over here. All right, let's try another one. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was harder than I thought it was gonna be. Mixing concrete was a lot. So basically here's where we're at. Concrete with the pieces in, and then I used the straight edge to kind of line them all up. What I did not factor in is they're all lined up. This one is a little bit off, the fourth one over here. What I did not factor in is depth. So some of them are higher, some of them are lower. Not super stressed about that because I know when I put my posts in, I can run like a line, a straight line all the way across, and then cut the wood so that it all matches at the top. And then there's going to be a lot of mulch and plants and stuff in front of these. So I'm not super worried about it being obviously crooked at the bottom or different heights. I think I'll be able to make it work. Yeah. Y'all tell me what you think. Okay, at this point, the concrete needs to set for a minimum of 24 hours before I can put posts into it, which makes sense. Everything looks really good. 1, 2, 3 look really good. This one is questionable over here, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think it's going to be okay. We'll see. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. Just trying to figure it out as I go along. I did do some planning. I have some experience with construction, but not with concrete. So anyway, this will be fun. Does this entrance have to be perfect? No, it does not. It is going to have a rustic quality to it anyway. I want it to look like it's been here for a long time. I know that'll take a little while, a couple of years, but yeah, I do want it to look like that. And I think it's okay if it's not perfect. I just want to make sure it's sturdy. That's my main concern. Will these hold everything up? There's not a lot of weight. The only real weight are the 4x4s, the 4x4s that are going on here. The door isn't that heavy, and then it's just lattice. So there's not a lot of weight. And because I have the lattice, the wind can pass through this design. So I don't think I'm worried about really high winds where it could push the whole thing over because the wind can pass through. So I think that's something to consider as well. But I think I've got a really good start to this. Now, while this continues to set, I will basically go ahead and gather my supplies for the next part. I think this is going to be a 3-parter. So this is part 1, digging the holes, setting the concrete, setting the bases. The next part is going to be construction, so it's going to be everything with lumber. And then the third part, I think, is going to be staining the entire thing and then adding the decorative elements. I'm wanting to do a crystal or glass bead installation above the door. And I think that'll be really fun and kind of add to the whimsical quality of what I'm going for. So I think that that'll be really good too. So I think this is going to end up being 3 parts. But thank y'all for sticking through it with me on this one. This one was not as exciting. I think the next one is going to be really exciting because it's lumber and you're really going to be able to see what it's going to end up looking like. All right, you all, as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you know when my latest videos are up. And be sure to check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.